This graph shows the volume of a recording. At the top is the loudest we can go, and at the bottom is absolute silence. There are some quiet bits here, here, and here, a loud bit here, and a really loud bit here. Now the problem with this recording is that the quiet bits are too quiet, so the obvious first thing to try is to increase the volume. Thing is, we can only push it up by this much. So if we try doing this, we end up with this. The quiet parts are a bit louder, but not by much. We can't increase the volume anymore since we don't have any more headroom. And even if we did, it still wouldn't help since the loud bits would start to become too loud. This is where we need to use a compressor to reduce the dynamic range, that is, the difference between the quietest and loudest parts of a recording. The first thing we do is set the threshold. Everything below this goes through unchanged, but anything louder gets compressed down and made quieter. If we run our original recording through the compressor, this is what we get. If we configure a ratio of 2 to 1, for example, for every 2 dB that goes in, only 1 dB comes out. 10 dB in, 5 dB out. And everything under the threshold is unaffected. If we set the compressor with a higher ratio, say 4 to 1, the effect is more pronounced. And in the most extreme case, we can use a compressor as a limiter that prevents the volume from ever going over the threshold. So, this is what a compressor does, but how does that actually help us? Let's go back to the signal that was compressed 4 to 1. By squashing down the loud parts, we now have more headroom and can increase the volume by quite a bit more. If we compare this new signal with our original attempt to increase the volume, we can see that the loud bits are just as loud, but the quiet bits are much louder. So, to recap, a compressor reduces the dynamic range of a signal, evening out the changes in volume, letting us make the quiet bits louder, but without affecting the loud bits too much. Now we know what a compressor does and why we would want to use one. The next video will talk about how to actually use one.